Hello, YouTube. So, you know what I keep on forgetting to do in these Samurai Jack vlogs? Talk about how the intro has changed. Yeah, for some odd reason, I keep on forgetting to talk about that, but I have finally reminded myself to talk about that now. So, yeah, the intro changed. Jack narrates it now. And there's no fun theme song. I miss the theme song. I mean, it still plays at the end of. It still plays for the end credits, but still, I miss the theme song. But yeah, I like the new intro. It's all right. So yeah, moving on. Yeah, this episode starts off where the last one ended. Jack is now floating down a river and dying by bleeding to death. I would really like to watch a few years later, like some person, some little kid or something, going and watching Samurai Jack for the first time, not knowing about the time gap and everything, and then just going in and watching the transition from Jack saving a baby to this. Like, this episode is gore-filled, and I love it. But I would still like to see a kid's reaction to this random change, because, yeah, I've been thinking about it a little bit. How is it going to be looking back on the show now? Like, looking back on it a few years later, like, if we forget about the time skip and stuff, then, like, randomly it goes from no gore being shed at all, outside of a few cuts on Jack, which really never bled somehow. I feel like I should question that a little bit further, but yeah, outside that, there was really no gore on the show before. Now, randomly, it's a bloodbath. I would love to see some little kid's reaction to that. Like thinking, oh, well, it's a TV7 show. I can go in and watch this. Oh my god. I would love to see that happen. So, yeah, I would also like to know what that kid's reaction would be. Like, oh my god, I'm scarred for life, or oh my god, that was awesome. Because that's my reaction to it, the awesome one. So, yeah, Jack is now flowing down the river, dying, bleeding to death, and he eventually makes his way to a cave, while a lot of blood is being spilt along the way, and somehow most of it just disappears when the Daughters of Aku go looking for him later on in this episode. I want to know, did, like, freeze up in the snow, and then, like, I don't know, some animals just came and took away the blood for him or something? I just want to know how that went down. But, yeah, I mean, some of it does stay there, but not that much. Like, there's a lot of blood coming out of Jack here, and yeah, I find it kind of unrealistic here that the Daughters of Aku, extremely skillful trackers, why would I? Okay, but like, extremely skillful at tracking, only knows a few drops of blood and a bloody handprints. Yeah, that really doesn't sound that realistic when you think about it like that. But then again, this is a show with a giant big random black demon thing as a villain that's sent to samurai through time. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't expect realism here, but still, I mean, like, I want to know what happened to most of that blood that came out, because that was a lot of blood. But maybe it just sort of sank in the snow after it dried up or something, I don't know, but I mean, like, it had to have frozen there. It looked really cold out there, so it had to have frozen. Maybe it sunk in the snow. I don't know. But then I still feel like the Daughters of Aku could step on it, and I am dwelling on blood freezing up in snow way too much than I should be. So, yeah, Jack eventually makes his way to a cave where he eventually has to take out the knife, and this scene is really intense. Like, I've seen a lot of knife pulling in movies, and, like, all the blood that comes out of it and everything. I've seen a lot of horror movies. I've seen a lot of really gory ones at that, and, Yeah, most of the time, either they'll get to a comedical standpoint, either on purpose or unintentionally, or I just sort of get used to it. But this one, I don't know. There's just something really intense about this knife pulling that, in just sort of any moment with Jack actually having to work on his wound here, that, yeah, it really is pretty intense there. So, yeah, he eventually does take out the knife and passes out because he just pulled a knife out of himself. That's to be expected. So, after he wakes up, he then starts talking to Hallucination Jack again because that's gonna be a recurring thing, I guess. So, yeah, he's done a different art style for some reason. I don't really know why Hallucination Jack is changing an art style, but whatever. I guess I shouldn't question hallucination logic. So, yeah, he seems incredibly evil here. Like, seriously, some of his... Just pause on some of his frames in this scene, in that scene. Like, he looks incredibly evil. It's kind of hilarious, really. So, yeah, this is pretty much Jack feeling guilty about killing a person for the very first time. Which, yeah, I do like how they are actually bringing back, and it does take a lot of time in this episode for him to actually try and move on. Only to go and kill more people. Something was accomplished with that. So, yeah. Pretty much most of this episode is Jack meeting that wolf from the earlier episode, because that's an important thing that really needs to come back. Actually, I did love him and his new wolf pal. Seriously loved that. That was awesome. So, yeah, Jack makes friends with a wolf because he's that awesome. He also takes some wood and then makes thread out of it somehow without any necessary machinery for that. And he also takes a bone and makes a needle out of that and then stitches up his wound. So, he went from a little bit of wood to... Do I have any thread? A little bit of thread. Makes sense to me. Of course I had wood and thread just lying around for that. What, I sew? I sewed these patches. Of course I would have thread. So, yeah. Somehow that doesn't cause any infection or incredibly painful splinters, but he does eventually sew up his wound, and now he's ready to go out and get some food, but he's still cold, so the wolf goes and gets it. And then he decides, okay, well, you did most of the work, I'll cook it for you at least, and then eat half of it for myself and throw it to you. Okay, I guess I shouldn't question that too much. Because, you know, I mean, Jack has a wolf pal. That's awesome. So, yeah, this whole entire moment is really awesome. And also, during this scene, we do get some flashbacks to when Jack's father merciless? Cannot say that still. I don't know why. Okay, so he brutally murders people right in front of his son, who his wife doesn't decide to try and pull him away from seeing those horrific things. What a great mother there. But yeah, apparently she just decides to start him off while he's young. I mean, he might kill people in the future, so just gotta get used to this. I mean, he's gonna be a samurai. So, yeah, I guess I can kind of understand that, actually. So, then we also get to see how Jack's father dealt with this. He told himself it's a part of who he is. I don't... How does that help him sleep at night? You know, whatever. Jack feels better after that because... I don't know, he just feels better after that. But, yeah, now him and his wolf friend depart. I was honestly really hoping that him and his wolf pal would now go and fight the Dars of Aku. That would have been awesome. But no, unfortunately, the wolf and Jack are healed now. Even the stitches have fallen out Jack until the next shot when they're still present. Consistency error. So, yeah, now Jack and the wolf are pretty much all healed up, so they're ready to go fight their greatest foes. And yeah, we never get to see what the wolf's doing after this. Like, you know, I mean, I just sort of assume that he beat those weird tiger alien monsters that he was fighting for some reason. Yeah, so the wolf the wolf leaves, and now we go on to the Dars of Aku's perspective, as they pretty much just say death is failure, walk away from their dead sister's corpse, because no one's going to question that, no reason to hide it or anything. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that their whole entire reason for existence is killing the samurai, but he could come across that and know where you were and know where not to go now, but yeah, they just sort of assume that he's not here anymore, even though they're not really following anything outside of some blood, which is still wet, by the way. How is the blood still wet, even though it looks like a few weeks have gone by as Jack was healing? I don't know, I'm still questioning why there was not that much blood there, even though we saw tons of it dripping out. Yeah, I'm still on that. I'm very confused to how that works. Especially in dry areas, which, yeah, he was walking in a few areas without any snow, so I don't know how it wouldn't have even frozen there. It should have just been stained, unless there's a janitor coming around cleaning up everything. I don't know what's happening with that. But, yeah, eventually the Dars of Aku are on his trail, but they get interrupted when they see a deer. And they need to stop and look at this for a little bit. Because deer. Important. Then they eventually see the male deer come out, and they're just like, oh, he's totally on killer. And then they're disappointed when he doesn't. And then they're just like, no, this isn't working right. And then they come out with swords. I really want to know what they planned to do there if the deer didn't run off. Like, were they going to kill the female one just because they didn't like how things were playing out? I really want to know how that would have gone. But also, these super stealthy Dars of Aku don't notice a twig that they snap on. You're excellent trackers, but can't find most of the blood that Jack drips, even though there's tons of it all over this place. That would probably lead you there a whole lot faster and in a much better way than taking a river and just assuming that he got off here. And also, you are masters at stealth in an episode, but then you don't even notice when there's a twig that you can step on. Why? Okay, so yeah, I guess they're not their A game because the samurai isn't around currently, even though that was proven to not be the only reason why they did that in the very first episode with them, as they were proved equally as skillful and on their guard when Jack wasn't around. So yeah, doesn't really make any sense why they would be like that, but they eventually take a nap, and Ashi decides to look at the sky at night and then take a nap there, because she's on guard. Yeah. So, eventually, they all do eventually bump into Jack, and he offers them a choice, whether or not to stay and die, or to leave and survive. And they eventually make the same choice that the same people who Jack's dad was fighting did. Take a guess as to how this ends. And it's awesome. I really cannot sum up how great this fight is. It's really just something that you have to see for yourself. This was really a high point for the action in this show, and it's incredible. Yes, there is a lot of gore, and it's beautifully done, and honestly, I just really love how this whole entire fight scene was done. It's really intense, and yeah, it sort of just ends with most of the Dars of Aku getting killed. And it's awesome. So yeah, eventually Jack does kill most of the daughters of Aku, and he's only left with Ashi, who he eventually does kill. You know, I thought that with a little bit of focus being put on her, there'd be something else happening with her instead of her yelling at Jack before she died, but apparently not. So yeah, then the branch breaks, and Jack falls to his death? No, probably not, because, I mean, there are going to be 10 episodes. Or at least that's what I'm hearing. There might be more, or 8. I don't know. I saw 8 on IMDb, so, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, he's probably not gonna die unless the show is just gonna continue on without Jack for some reason. Maybe he had a kid and his kid decided to continue on his legacy or something. That would be the ending we all want. So yeah, maybe something like that'll happen, or it probably won't. I can almost guarantee it won't. So, yeah. Also, the promo for the next episode does show Jack alive, so I'm gonna be in such suspense. But yeah, will Jack die again? We'll find out. He probably won't, though, because we see a promo where he's clearly not in the same environment for the next episode, so he's probably not gonna die. So, yeah, this was actually a really, really good episode. This is actually probably my favorite of this season so far, maybe even out of the whole show. The action is really intense in this episode, and really, I can't even sum up how great it is. It's just outstanding. I really do love the action here. I've always liked it with this show, but this episode has a really high bar with the action here. I just loved it. They go gory, and yeah, it's pretty amazing. Although there were some times where I don't really get the use of the gore, like when there are these weird lines going across Jack and his wolf pal. Is that supposed to be like your hand is stained with blood taken to the extreme or something? I really don't get what that's supposed to mean. I guess it symbolizes his guilt, but I don't get why the wolf would be feeling that guilt. It's a wolf, it's a predator, and it was defending itself. I don't see why a wolf would feel guilty about that, but apparently it does. Just isn't showing any of it. Although it does sort of hang out with Jack, which is awesome. And yes, I do love Jack hanging out with a wolf. It was great. So yeah, I really do hope that wolf comes back and Jack rides around with his new wolf buddy. That would be awesome. But yeah, now Jack actually gets a lot of really good development in this episode. We do really get to explore how he actually felt about killing daughter of Aku number 7. And yeah, you can actually see a lot of guilt with him here. Which is something that, yeah, kind of, when we actually saw him kill her, he was just like, okay, oh god, I've been stabbed, crap. So, like, yeah, I didn't really get much time to reflect on it, although I do like how they are still reflecting on it, though, and also how, yeah, he does still have to kill the others, because if he doesn't, then they'll just kill him. I do like how that is executed, and how he eventually makes the decision that he does have to kill them. Or at least offer them a choice, which they obviously weren't going to take, but at least he offered them that choice, so that's nice. So yeah, I really did enjoy the development for Jack in this episode. We do actually get to see more of his childhood again, which is very nice. I always like seeing his childhood, although usually it's much more happy than this. At least, except for when Aku came in and sort of took everything from him. But until that point, most of the flashbacks that we saw of Jack's childhood were happy. This one, it starts off happy with Jack playing with his toys, but then blood just gets on his face even. It's pretty great. So yeah, I really do love the use of gore here, and there is a lot of great development for Jack in this episode. we really do get to explore his character more and seeing how the years have changed him. Like, I doubt that if we were actually seeing the Jack from 12 years or 13 almost years ago, I doubt that he would have been able to take death like this, because, like, yeah, he was a lot more nice back then. I mean, yeah, he could go very brutal on robots or ultimate forces of evil, but when it came down to actual people, he didn't want to kill them. So, yeah, the fact that he actually did have to kill some of them here probably would have torn up the old Jack way beyond repair, but I do like how over the years, yeah, he's kind of just able to take things a little bit better, and yeah, we can actually see how that has affected him a little bit here, as really, it just sort of takes a whole episode for him to get over it. I mean, yeah, you can tell at the end it does still affect him, but not as much as it probably would have at least 12 years ago, or 50 years for him. So, yeah, 50 years, amazingly, might have had a little bit of might have actually had some effect on him. More than having hallucinations and talking to yourself. Okay, it's had a very big effect on him. So, yeah, this was a really good episode for development for Jack, and we actually do get to see a nice little bit more of a human side to the Daughters of Aku here, or at least for a little bit. I do actually like seeing how they don't know that much about the world itself, really. The only thing they actually know is fighting, pretty much, and that's all they've ever been taught, because that's all they have to actually live for here. So I do actually like seeing how they would treat something that most people would just sort of think is kind of nice as a dangerous situation. It's actually a very good moment, and I did really enjoy that. Although, I still really want to know what they would have done to the deer if they didn't step on a twig. Like, seriously, was that one gonna go kill them or something? I really want to know what would have happened there. So, yeah, this was actually a very, very solid episode. I really enjoyed it, and it's getting me very excited for the next one, which, I gotta say, looks more like it's gonna fit the feel of the older seasons. Like, I mean, humor-wise, sort of. The overall promo for the next one just kind of looks more nice, a little bit more cheery, which I think would be a welcome change, because, yes, while I do love the fact of how adult they've gotten here, yeah, there's still a lot of adult themes here, and a lot of gore now. I think it'd be kind of nice to go a little bit back to their roots a little bit, and it looks like the next episode is going to do that. Although if the next episode showed more gore or something, possibly, then yeah, I probably wouldn't have hated that either. But, you know what? I'm still gonna like the next episode. I know that. It looks like it's gonna go back to more of the comedy sort of area, because, yeah, we haven't really gotten that much of that. Or at least not from Jack. Like, okay, there's that robot in the first episode of this season, who I didn't personally find that funny, but he was still pretty cool. And he did fit into the overall style of all the bounty hunters that would go after Jack originally. And we had one line in this episode, just like, so, I guess you're saying then. I loved that moment, by the way. I loved that. That was hilarious. I actually went back on that a few times. It was really funny. We also got Q a bit, but yeah, he was just sort of there to actually be comic relief in that one, but yeah, it doesn't really last that long. So, like, the humor in this show has been taken out a lot, so I think it'd be kind of nice if it actually does come back a little bit. Because that was sort of a thing with the original seasons, is that it did find a much better blend of action, drama, and comedy. And it would actually give a lot of good time to focus on all three. Here, it's focusing on action and drama, but comedy has kind of been put out a little bit more. Although I do still really like what they're doing with this season, it's kind of been removed more. I'm guessing that's because they have more creative freedom now they're able to go on Adult Swim, and they can do a few more adult things. I can understand why they would want to. So, I really don't have any problem with it. It's just that, yeah, I think it would be kind of nice to get a few more comedic moments back in here, which it definitely seems like they're going to do, so yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. Bye.